Hi YouTube. Today I will be reacting to the worst TikTok recipes on TikTok. So I hope you like, comment, subscribe, and enjoy the video.
They were charged with larceny, criminal impersonation, identity theft, and forgery. They should have just thrown the old pig
I
skin
can
around if
already
they
tell
wanted to have
this
some
shit gonna
fun
be.
time. The court set their bail at $250,000. Number 5, Jamari Britton. Jamari Britton's getaway driver called the cops on him after robbing several banks in Florida. However, his getaway driver never got in any high-speed chases. It was an Uber driver who'd spent the day driving Britton around town. Britton Ubered from bank to bank trying to withdraw money from accounts that weren't his using stolen IDs. He got arrested. He told police that his name was Andre and handed them a driver's license listing his name as Andre Rodriguez. He claimed he was withdrawing all this cash for a music video, which was a pretty clever excuse. It's pretty common to see rappers throwing around lots of cash in music videos. Police found him. Britton had several different IDs on him. 4 were his, and 3 were completely different people. They charged him with possessing a counterfeit driver's license, giving false ID to law enforcement, fraud, and illegal use of a credit card. These aren't the most common crimes, so at least he gets points for being a little creative. Maybe next time he'll hire an actual getaway driver instead of calling him Uber. Number 4, Robert and Tiffany Williams. Robert and Tiffany Williams, couple from Pennsylvania, faced felony theft charges when their bank accidentally deposited $120,000 into their account. That was the bank's fault, but the couple spent most of it and actively avoided the bank's calls, quickly turning a random mistake into a legal problem. According to police, they bought an SUV, a camper, 2 four-wheelers, and a car trailer. It sounds like they used the money to plan a sick camping trip. They even gave $50,000 to a friend in need. But how did they get the money in the first place? Somebody did deposit $120,000. However, the bank teller typed in an account number wrong. The person who was actually supposed to get the money asked the bank what was going on, and the bank realized that the Williams family ended up with it. In an interview, Robert blamed poor legal advice that he'd gotten from some people. He probably thought the money was there to spend if someone accidentally deposited it. With all the checks and balances banks put in place, many questioned how such an egregious mistake could have happened. Then again, we're not too surprised with all the scammers and swindlers we cover on this channel. Check out this video for the full story on Robert and Tiffany Williams here. Number 3, Nick Leeson. Nick Leeson is an English criminal and former derivatives trader.
I can already tell this shit gonna be nasty as hell.
Brought down Barings Bank, the oldest merchant bank in England. Leeson made unauthorized trades with money that was not his, and he had a bold strategy for trying to make sure he always came out on top. Every time he lost money, he doubled the amount on his next trade to recoup his losses. This worked. Well, it worked for a while anyway. Long enough for Leeson's boss to put him in charge of the bank's futures and options office in Singapore. On January 16th, 1995, Leeson placed a short straddle in the Singapore and Tokyo stock exchanges. Basically, he bet that the Japanese stock market would not move significantly overnight. He wasn't supposed to be doing this, legally speaking, but he did it anyway. That night, the Kobe earthquake hit, sending the market into a crazy tailspin and destroying Leeson's plan. He made a series of increasingly risky bets to try and get the money back before anyone noticed, but nothing paid off. Leeson left a note that read, "I'm sorry," and fled Singapore to hide. He lost $1.4 billion of company money, and the bank never recovered. Leeson stayed on the run for a while.
You ready? That looks just like bread. All right,
No, it don't.
here. Make some burgers. I'm gonna place some cheese. I'm gonna place another burger.
That don't even look
Ketchup.
right.
One more layer of cheese. I'm gonna add some crispy bacon to top it off.
That look like something a duck would eat.
You know what? I don't want to. I don't like what I'm seeing, quite frankly. You have just created a monster. I thought we were making a vessel for some sort of sauce, some sort of basic chicken meal, and you mean to tell me you have created a hamburger bun out of chicken? Is this legal? Because it shouldn't be, and at least not doing it this way.
So we're gonna start with the block of Velveeta cheese.
You just know if you're on a social media site and you're watching a cooking video and a block of Velveeta cheese gets thrown into the mix, it's not gonna end well.
We're gonna add some macaroni.
It really ain't. It's not gonna end well at all.
Add some heavy whipping cream. Just want to use enough to cover the noodles. That's enough right there. Now we're gonna add some freshly grated Monterey Jack cheese. And the last little bit right here. Make that nice and even. Now we're gonna add about 1 cup of water. It's gonna help our noodles cook. And I'm gonna add some mozzarella cheese.
noodles and being so adamantly against cooking pasta in the traditional way. I mean, this looks fine, except for the fact that you just didn't at least kind of cook the pasta before you put it in. I mean, fine is kind of a gracious term, I will admit. There's enough cheese in this dish to kill a large horse, but you know what I mean.
Now while that's baking, we're gonna make our topping. I'm gonna add some breadcrumbs. Need a lot to cover the top. Now we're gonna add some melted butter. There we go. I'm gonna give this a light mix here. Combine all that together. So when it looks like brown sugar, that's when you know it's ready. I'm gonna add some seasoning. Add some garlic powder, a little bit of pepper, a little bit of salt, some parsley flakes to make it look pretty, and last but not least, some grated Parmesan cheese.
The more I watch these videos, the more I realize that these dishes are pretty much all made of the same ingredients, just a few differences here and there. Like, I don't think I've ever seen this woman not bread something.
We're gonna start with 2 eggs in our Doritos bag. Next, we're gonna add a little bit of milk.
Bro, now that I realize it, he is kind of right.
Sorry, people, I have standards.
We're gonna start by adding some boiled pasta.
Here we go with the pasta.
Crack 1 egg. There we go. Nice and pretty. Next, we're gonna add some milk. I'm using about 175 milliliters. Next, we're gonna add some vegetable oil. Just using a 1/4 cup here. Now we're gonna give it a little bit of flavor. Using paprika. Next, I'm gonna add some nutmeg. This gives it a nice flavor as well. I'm gonna pop both yolks, and then I'm gonna gently stir this around.
I mean, at least the pasta is boiled, I guess. But this is still just dumb stunt food. She literally poured the pasta out of a mixing bowl that she could have just done this in, but instead, to get more comments and feed the algorithm, she mixes it in a very inefficient way so people get angry. And it's working.
I find that by twisting this works best. Now I'm gonna sprinkle some of that feta in here. Nice and cheesy. Next, I'm gonna finally chop up some fresh parsley. I'm gonna make it nice and pretty and colorful. We're gonna give this another toss. It's one of my favorite meals in the world. Okay, now we're gonna place this into the oven at 355 for about 30 minutes. Wow, that's perfect.
Yes, if you entered
No,
this
it don't. That is not perfect.
egg and nutmeg competition, I think you might just win first place.
Listen to that sizzle. Okay, we're gonna take a cutting board now. Place it on top.
That ain't gonna come out right.
Very slowly and gently. Wow, it worked!
Oh, really? It did? I suppose me and you might have different definitions of that word.
So the first thing we want to do is dip a taco shell in some cake mix.
What are we doing with
the
taco
first time a
shells?
human being has ever said that in history. Now it's time we dip a taco in some cake mix. What? Look, I know people joke about Americans' diets, but I promise we do not eat this way.
We want to make sure we fully cover that. Now that it's completely covered, we want to dip it in some hot oil. Gentle, don't burn your fingers. It should be done. Take it out and transfer that over here.
You can tell the taco shell inside is soggy. See, look at it. It's soggy.
While it dries. Now, once they're cool, we're going to remove our taco shells and place them into our taco holder.
You know what's sad? I could definitely see this being on the dessert menu at one of those taco shops that charge like $14 a taco, and I bet people buy it.
Look how cute that is. We're going to pour some water in a pot and bring that to a boil. Bowl on top here, and we're going to melt some chocolate. Set that in there. See how that's steaming? That's going to melt our chocolate nicely. So smooth. Oh, our tacos. Oh yeah, it's the best dessert ever. Now we're going to take a banana, chop that nice and fine. Take our bananas, place them inside. A few more here. Now we're going to grab some strawberries. I'm going to chop these up like our bananas, nice and fine. Alright. 1, 2. That's better. A couple more things. I'm going to scoop up some ice cream here. It's the best. My favorite. Alright, and last one here.
You know, this has the potential to be delicious if you were to just fry some
It
cake
kinda
batter
do.
and shape it into the form of a taco, but the fact that there is an actual taco shell inside of this just ruins it. You can't just fry away the taste of a pre-bought taco shell. Sorry to be the bearer of bad news, but the flavors of strawberries and ice cream and the flavors of an old El Paso taco shell do not exactly mix. Well, guys, another day, another video.
Okay, you guys, that's all for the video. And like, comment, subscribe, and see you in the next video.
This shit too decent. Scale of 1 to 10, she a 10 piece. Usually I'm the one with the groovies. Shorty so bad.